Officers of the law who drive unmarked cars, what is your best? Are you fucking kidding me? Moment that you witnessed because they didn't realize you were watching? Second police job was as a deputy sheriff, and I'm sitting there with my partner off a highway exit at a scenic overlook eating some lunch and listening on the radio to CHP trying to corner two motorcyclists who are flying around the highway like idiots. No air support is available, so they terminate pursuit for safety. About 10 minutes later, as I'm polishing off my fourth taco, two bikes matching the description, and without any visible plates, exit the highway and pull into the same overlook. They take their helmets off, listen for a few minutes, kill the bikes, and then the one walks over to start pissing behind a tree. We made CHP transport them since that guy pissed all over himself when we hit the siren. We were in an unmarked Subaru at the time. I drive an unmarked car. My favorite one was on a 2-lane road going 55. A big lifted truck passes me on a double yellow, and the driver flips me the bird as he passed. I wonder what he was thinking when I lighted him up. He denied flipping me off when I pulled Ho over. I just gave him his ticket, and he was on his way. Most of the funny moments are working plain clothes. I still walk around thinking, shit, I'm the police, and if you people only knew. You see a lot more in plain clothes than in uniform. There are too many stories to tell, so I'll just say the one that happened yesterday. A couple of dealers asked me a number of times what I needed. I was doing something else, so I wasn't going to bust them. They follow me down the street and keep asking me what I need. I end up telling one guy that I need some meth, and he tells me the price. He palms me the meth, and I paid him with my badge. I think he regretted chasing me down the street asking me what I needed. I was on duty one day driving, not in an unmarked car but a clearly marked car. It was an hour before I was to go home, so I had already mentally checked out pretty much. Anyways, I am driving down a road and this car zooms past this stop sign in front of me, causing me to slam on my brakes and slam on the horn, literally close to hitting him. It's funny because I exclaimed out loud to myself in the car, "Motherfucker! I wish there was a squad car near you, a-hole." Then I proceeded to remember I was that squad car and turned around 15 seconds later and pulled him over. Yeah, had a little justice boner that day. I was driving from Indianapolis to Bloomington one day to visit a friend on the IU campus. I was going around 70 or so, running late, and I passed a cop in an unmarked Mustang on the side of the road. He pulled out, and I got ready to pull over. He got behind me, and just as he lit me up, a lady in a red convertible comes flying past both of us. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw a completely stunned look on his face, as if he was asking himself, did this car really just blow by both of us? It took him a couple of seconds to recover, but then he pulled up beside me, pointed at me while laughing, and took off after the woman. I passed them as she was getting stopped and tooted the horn twice in thanks to her. I'm a cop in Ohio, and I was driving a 2011 Hyundai Elantra. The police paid for it, so it was really nice inside, leather, extra speakers, etc. One day when I was out on patrol listening to some cop rap, a guy drove past me with speakers so loud that I could hear the song, Reba McEntire, over the cop rap, so I blooped him with the siren and pulled him over. I walk up to the car and ask him what he's doing, and the tinted window rolled down, and it was Reba McEntire. I was completely stunned, and I said, "I'm sorry, but a ticket's a ticket." She grinned sheepishly and said, "That's fine. You're just doing your job." It was one of the highlights of my career before I retired. Not me, but my dad. He was a detective in an unmarked car, coming back from a hearing. He was not in his jurisdiction, and going 35 to 40 in a 35. There was a woman behind him riding his ass, which he largely ignored because he wasn't going painfully slow, in fact a bit over. She starts beeping her horn and waving her arms, swerving side to side like she was trying to find a way to zoom around him. He's also approaching the township line, putting him within his jurisdiction. Literally 5 seconds after he crosses the township line, the woman speeds around him. Funny enough, at this township line the speed limit also drops from 35 to 25. He clocks her going 55, puts on his removable police light and pulls her over. Now this is where things get funky. His car has a dash cam and records everything. This will be important soon. As he walks up to her window, she's visibly shaking in anger. He shows her his badge, explains who he is, as he is in suit and tie, not standard police uniform, and tells her he clocked her at 55 in a 25. He then asks her for her license and registration, and she responds by screaming rape out the window as loud as she can. He then asks if she would be more comfortable if he called a uniformed on-duty patrolman. She suddenly calms down and says it's fine. I don't remember the timeline, as I was younger, but he ends up being taken to court for assault. This woman was claiming my dad reached in her window, grabbed her breast, and said he wouldn't write her a ticket if she was willing to play ball. My dad is mildly stressed, but has reviewed the dash cam, full audio and good quality video, with his appointed lawyer, which clearly shows none of that ever happened, and my father never even approached putting his hand inside her car. Judge hears the woman's testimony, and asks if she has told the truth. She claims she has. At that point they bring out the TV and play the dash cam. Judge informs her she should ask for leniency, and maybe she will receive a break from false charges. From my understanding, in order to avoid jail time, she agreed to a very long probation period and community service. One of my favorite how stupid can you be moments, and also a good lesson to not be an a-hole in general. What a stupid woman. I hate when people lie about rape and sexual harassment, taking away from the real victims. My little brother is really good at spotting cops, marked and unmarked. One day we were on our way to a wedding when my brother tells my mom to make sure she's going the speed limit cause she was about to pass an unmarked cop car. She is doubtful but does it anyways. About 30 seconds later a guy on a black Ducati comes flying up behind us weaving through traffic. He squeezes between our SUV and the cop and we all cheered when the cop flipped on his lights. My mom never questions my brother anymore. Not a cop. In college, my buddies and I lived in an especially affordable neighborhood. We all went to the bar one night, but soon received a call that there was a break-in. Got home and the cop told us he and his partner were driving by our house in an unmarked car when they saw an individual struggling to carry digital cameras, a t-shirt full of spare change, and an Xbox Plus controllers and games out of our house. The cops stopped to observe what appears to be a robbery in progress. But then the individual actually approached the unmarked car and attempted to sell the stolen Xbox to the cops on the sidewalk in front of our house that he had just robbed. They said it was the easiest arrest they ever made. I'm on the other side of this one. I was cycling down a main road and had a green light to cross, and I was nearly run over by a massive black car that ran the light and turned into me. We both swerved to a stop. I immediately turned around and started screaming at the guy. "You fucking etc. You nearly killed me, look where you're fucking going next time." The car was unmarked police. The passenger side window rolled down, and there was a guy in a baseball cap and a bulletproof vest sitting there holding a rifle. I kept shouting abuse at him until I realized. He just apologized for nearly running me over and kept on driving. We had a guy pull into a lot next to a marked squad car and light up a joint. My buddy sitting in the car had to look around to make sure he was, in fact, in a squad car and that he was, in fact, in uniform. He was. The old adage of, "We don't catch the smart ones," never rang more true. I am a cop, in training, but wasn't in an unmarked car. Person was playing on their phone in the middle of traffic and didn't realize what kind of car was beside him. He looks up to me, sees me, and just gives me the finger, apparently for looking at him. Only then does he notice my uniform, or perhaps the big white police eye on the side of the car. My instructor didn't believe it until I assured him I wasn't making it up. That guy ended up admitting it to my instructor. Probably the most expensive finger he ever gave someone. And the most expensive round of whatever they were playing on the phone. I am not an officer, however, this is too perfect not to tell. Mind you, I was not speeding. I accelerated quickly and got in front of the SUV beside me, who proceeded to tailgate me. He was driving aggressively, and I thought road raging, so I got over again and sped around a car in front of me and got over again. I made my turn and the guy was on my tail again. Suddenly he lights me over and my stomach drops. I pull over and a plainclothes officer gets out and approaches. He says, "Sir, why were you driving like that? I am not a traffic officer, but your erratic driving gave me no choice but to pull you." I shrugged my shoulders and responded, "You were tailgating me and looked angry. I thought you were raging and tried to get some distance from you." He responded, "That's fair," and walked back to his car and drove off. Retired sheriff's deputy here. Was not working but in plain clothes with my young children in tow. We were at a local street carnival in my jurisdiction. when I watched two carnies do a hand-to-hand transaction of some type of narcotic. I contacted the officers on duty at the carnival, and the deputy prosecutor happened to be there as well. She asked me if I would be willing to do a purchase from one of the carnival workers. I had never worked undercover and didn't really know anything about narcotics or the street lingo. I was able to buy heroin and have an arrest effected almost immediately. Some guy tried suddenly coming out of a turn lane into our lane. When we didn't automatically brake to let him in, he started screaming and cursing us out, even sticking his middle finger out the window, not realizing we were cops. We lowered our window, flashed the badge and hit the lights, and then pulled him over. The guy started crying and apologized numerous times. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.